Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. So today's topic is, what is Om in Hinduism? This is a very familiar subject actually. Many of you are aware of many ideas about this sacred symbol in Hinduism. But today I would tax your patience and try to take you to a deeper understanding of all that you have learned so far. It takes you beyond your belief systems and challenges your belief with the help of your own personal experiences. Your own personal experiences. These things will count. Once again, I am sorry if I ask you for your undivided attention. If you do that, then and then only, at the end, you will know what self-realization is. Hold your breath and let us go step by step. Suppose I am meditating. Then you ask, who is meditating? My answer will be, I am meditating. You ask the same question again, who is meditating? I am meditating. 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 Repeat it several times, time and again. What do you get? Who is meditating? I. Who? I. Now, who am I? I am I. Isn't it so? You are you. I am I. Is there any duality in this? I am I means I am. Aham Brahma Asmi. I and Brahman are one. I and my existence are one and the same. There is no time difference. There is no space difference between me and my existence, between me and Atman, between me and Brahman. I cannot be there without my existence. Then only I am. Okay? This I has been given a Sanskrit name, and that Sanskrit name is Om. But I am not Om. Wait. The scripture will say that you cannot contradict that this is your real name. Doubtful? Well, when your evolutionary biology says that you are a gene machine, why don't you object? When your great people say that you are a social animal, a political animal, etc., why don't you object? The Mandukya Upanishad says in mantra number 8, Om iti etat aksharam Brahma. Om is that immutable Brahman. Earlier, the Upanishad discussed the self-analysis or Atma Vichara, analysis of your own self. This mantra will take us into the analysis of Om, Om Vichara. If duality is true, then there is no end to our suffering. It will continue parallelly with our happiness. This is the logical conclusion. So you don't need to get over suffering because it would always be there. It is eternal. It is infinite. And infinite together with the infinity of our happiness. That is why one has to accept that non-duality should be the ultimate truth. This is true logically, scientifically, and practically also. Vedanta does not believe in things just like that. It investigates about the truth of things at first theoretically. Then it believes in it and starts to critically probe into the truth. This is how you do your researches when you are doing your PhD, postdoc, etc. It takes truth as something verifiable. How do you verify truth in non-dual Vedanta? Friends, I shall not start with my discussion with Om. Rather, I will conclude the discussion with it. Now, what did I propose? How do you verify truth in non-dual Vedanta, right? Now, please remember one thing in the beginning. Vedanta does not assume or postulate anything that is not your own experience. There is no belief system in this. So, Vedanta investigation starts with your own experiences. You are the data store for this investigation. You have to volunteer yourself as the object of your own investigation. Okay? Yes, okay. In our life, we discuss things, scrutinize things in the way as if we are trying to understand things standing apart from this whole process of investigation. Here, you are part of this investigation as an object also. You are the investigator and you are the object of investigation, and you are doing this investigation. And this you have a name. You are known to yourself and also to others as some name. Suppose I use this word Rama. Today is Ramanavami. So I use this word Rama. Vasishtha Ramayana, there you will see that Rama was given this non-dual knowledge. So it is a nice occasion to remember Rama in our talk this way. Rama is your name. You have offered yourself to be a volunteer. Please remember this. You are a volunteer here. The investigation is being conducted on you, and you are part of this investigation. You are part, not standing aside, right? Now it asks you, please remove your name from you, because you are the volunteer and we will be investigating you. Means you will be investigating yourself. Remove your name from you. Can you do that? Yes, I can. How? I will take another name and change it in my passport. But we ask that you should remove your name, not change it. Remove forever. You should remove it altogether. You have to drop it. Can you do that? Now you are at a loss. Is it actually possible? Then you say, well, I will drop it when I die. It automatically goes. Similarly, you can drop your shape or form also. Yes. How? It is so easy because I changed my shape so many times in my life. And I will continue to change until my body meets its end, death. Then again, the question comes, can you change your utility? My utility? What is that? Well, my dear Rama, you are born without your name. You are born without a name. That is the truth. But you had a shape which is no more there. Your utility, you were looked upon as a baby son or baby daughter, baby brother, baby nephew, and so on. Now at this age, suppose you are 68, you are no more a baby and the baby you do not exist anymore. In between, you have changed so many shapes. You changed your utility. Now you are no more a baby. You may be a husband, a wife, a mother, a father, and whatnot. So your utility changed, and it has been changing continuously. Can you drop your utility altogether? Yes. When? At death. me. See, you have been saying death, death, death always. Name goes after death, shape goes after death, then your utility disappears after death. Clear? These are all silly suggestions. Vedanta asks, you have to drop your name, form, and utility not after death, not after death, here and now. You are not asked to wait. You are not asked to walk down 100 kilometers and drop it there. Drop it here and now. Drop it here and now. You should do it by your own effort. Why? Because you have enrolled yourself as a volunteer, Mr. Rama. Clear? Oh my God. Yes, I remember it, that I have offered myself as a volunteer. And that is called your self-analysis. The spiritual practice in Vedanta is called self-analysis. You analyze yourself. Clear? Still you have no clue? Well, here is the lead. Let us use an example. The gold is transformed into a bangle, then into a ring, then into a chain. Clear? Now look at the example of gold and bangles, etc. from the other side. What is the other side? Let me ask. What is a bangle? It is a name, a form, and a utility. Now let me ask you to touch it. You touch the bangle. Now I ask, what are you touching? A bangle. What is a bangle? It is different from a necklace because it has its separate name, form, and utility. This is called Vastu Paricheda, object limitation. And then can you touch the name bangle? Name. No, you cannot touch the name separately. You have to touch it together with its form. Can you still separate the name as an independent entity? Can you take it out from the bangle? Now turn to yourself. You are not Rama when you are born. The name has been given afterwards. It has been given. And what is given can be removed, can be taken away. Your name was added to you, to your changeful shapes, so that you appear to be one and the same person. Many shapes had the same name. The shapes changed, utility changed, but you remain the same name. You appeared to be Rama. Appeared. Why can't you separate the name from the shape now? We cannot. And you see, this is the way we complicate matters. Now a further lead. What is the still other side of this argument? Look at the bangle from the side of gold. We looked at the bangle from the side of its name, shape, and utility. Now look at the bangle from the side of gold. This is the other side. Can you touch the bangle without the gold? Can you touch the name bangle without the gold? No. Can you touch the shape bangle without the gold? No. Can you touch the utility of the bangle without the gold? No. You are right. Very good. Now let us look at it from the other side. Now there comes the question of all questions, the ultimate question. Can you touch the gold without the name, without the form, and without the utility of the bangle? Can you touch the gold? Can you touch the gold only, without the name, form, and utility of the bangle or any ornament? Yes. How? The logic is the gold can remain without being a bangle or without being a ring or a chain, anything. But the names, forms, and utility cannot remain without the gold. So the gold can be there without the name, form, and utility. And the gold can be there without being bangle, chain, ring, bracelet, etc. Right? Do you understand this? Yes. No, not right. But dear volunteer Rama, it seems so easy to say, yes, it is right. No, it is not right. You have to get it, actually you have to get it right, but you have got it absolutely wrong. Why do you forget that you have agreed to be a volunteer? That is the trick here. You agreed to be a volunteer, Rama. You are a volunteer. You are being investigated upon by yourself. What do you understand by this? Now again, let us ask the same question, the question of all questions. Can you touch the gold without the name, form, and utility of the bangle? Yes. How? Because the gold can remain without being anything. It is pure gold. That seems to be right. But what was my question? Can you touch only the gold without the name, form, and utility? Now look at the question and understand it step by step, a step further, suppose. The suggestion is, suppose you have melted the bangle. What do you have now? Gold and gold only, right? Again, look at the question of questions. So when you melted the bangle, when you had gold and gold only, now the question is, can you touch this gold? It is no more a bangle. It is just gold. Can you touch this gold? You may be inclined to say yes, but I would say you cannot say yes. Because at this point of self-inquiry, the example of gold and bangles that has served its purpose and lost its validity. The example is no more valid. That was an example to drive our ideas to ourselves. The example of bangle and gold ended there before this. Do you get the point? We use the example to help you reach the target of that example. What is the target of that example? You, the volunteer Rama, you are the target example. The self, you are the volunteers, hence you are the gold of the example. You are being compared with gold in the illustration. You are the conscious principle, the Atman, the self. Please remember this. You can be there and are there without all your names, forms, and utility. You are not separate from you. Hence, you cannot touch yourself. The gold cannot touch the gold because it is only one bullion, gold. Who will touch whom? Kenakam pasyet, kenakam vijaniya, Upanishad says. Who will see whom, who will know whom? Because I am I, so there are no two eyes. So who will touch whom? Gold cannot touch gold. There is no duality. Gold cannot touch itself because it is one and the single non-dual gold. Clear? This is a non-dual experience. There are no two names, no two shapes, and no two utilities of touching one another. Clear? Coming back to our discussion, suppose I convert the self, that is you, the volunteer, back into gold again. One single gold appears as separate entities. Once it is a bangle, another time it is a chain, a ring, like that. The bangleness, the chainness, the ringness are made of gold in this world, are made of this world. And with their destruction, the bangleness goes, ringness goes, chainness goes. This separate existence is also destroyed. The name, shape, and the utility, these three things are given by this materialistic world. Can you touch the name? Can you touch the gold? These are the questions. You may touch the name together with the gold, but you can touch the gold without the name. Possible? No. The dual consciousness is gone. Separate consciousness is gone. When everything has become the self, only one consciousness, then what should one smell? What should one realize? Touch. How, by what means one would know the knower? That was the question in the Upanishad. Vijñātāramare kena vijaniyāt. The knower is always the knower, which includes the intrinsic or built-in knowing power. But it is known, but if it is known, then it is an object, not the subject. And that which is not the knower is an object of the knower. Because it is the ultimate knower in which all the subsidiary knowers lose their identity, their meaning, their utility. Clear? In this discussion, the Upanishad says that the knower knows himself or herself not as a separate entity, not standing aside and knowing one's own self, not that the doctor, the surgeon is operating on himself or herself. Suppose a person A sees A and A touches A. It is not possible. A is A. Hence, there is no question of touching, seeing, etc. in the single infinite entity. You, my dear volunteer Rama, you are the Atman. And you experience it here and now. I am, that is an experience not barred by time, space, or causation. I am. Here and now. You are the volunteer who wanted to find yourself. You are that. You are that Atman. You are that existence. You do not wait until death, until you are attaining samadhi, etc. A name is always dependent on the shape and utility. When the form and utility are gone, the name also becomes immaterial. With this understanding, the Mandukya Upanishad proceeded to the topic that is called the analysis of Om. We have studied the analysis of Atman very extensively. I tried to make it short and easy, as easy as possible. The most of the logical, practical of the Upanishadic data analysis has been done now. Most of the analysis has been done both in the logical way and in the practical way. Because it is your own experience that is being analyzed. So it is very practical for you. There is no theoretical part in it. Most of the analysis have been done using the data from the Upanishad in respect of Atman. And those data are about your own experience also. The Upanishad is not supplying any data which is not your own experience. Because you are Atman. Your experiences are recorded in the Upanishad. Therefore, it is the most practical analysis, and you are the data store. Your data is being analyzed by you. I will try to summarize the analysis of Om within a very short time. Because the main context and implications of the mantra are elaborated on already. We have to remember that the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep states, they are states of one and the same person. In each state, we are given a name. In the waking state, I am the waker. In the Upanishad, I am called Vishwa, waker. In the dream state, I am called the dreamer. In the deep sleep state, I am called the sleeper. Now let us test one thing to understand the difference and also the unitary existence. Suppose I say when the waker goes into sleep, the waker goes into sleep. So who is sleeping now? The waker is sleeping. Then the dreamer is dreaming. Who is dreaming? The dreamer is dreaming. So who is awake in the dream? The dreamer is awake in the dream. The waker was awake in the waking state. Now the dreamer takes over and the dreamer is awake in the dream state. What happened to the waker? The waker went to sleep. Therefore, whatever be the experiences of the dreamer, I, Rama, in the dream, will not be known by the waker because the waker is sleeping. But when the dreamer goes to sleep and the waker wakes up, the waker remembers the dreamer's dream. How is it possible? The dreamer has gone to sleep. The dreamer has not informed the waker about his sleep. How is it possible that we are able to remember the dream of the dreamer? See, this is a very, very confusing experience of our own self. So there must be something which is common to both the dreamer and the waker, and which witnesses, not experiences, that witnesses. In the courts of law, the witness is called. The witness means the person who has not taken part in the events, stood aside and saw this as an independent person. So there is something underlying these two and these two experiences. These two means these waker and the dreamer and their experiences. There is something continuous in sleep also. And that is what is called Atman. And whatever is there on the surface, the waker and the waker's experiences, the dreamer, dreamer's experiences, sleeper, sleeper's experiences, they are played over the witness. And all of them are called Om. We'll come to that. And this Om can never be there if there is no Atman, which is below and behind this as the witness, which is known as that witness self, the stateless self, or Turiyam. We'll come to that in the analysis of this Om. Before we move forward, let us remember some basic ideas that we have learned, which we tend to forget generally. Self-analysis or Atma Vichara means Padartha Vichara, analysis of the implied meaning of the word or of the sound or the names. Self-analysis is the analysis of the implied meaning of the name, right? Like in the example of gold and ornaments, we analyze the implication or essence behind the ornaments. Gold is the essence, because if we remove gold, there will be no ornaments, right? Similarly, when we do self-analysis, we analyze the four parts of that self being available in three states: waking, dreaming, and dreamless sleep. Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. And finally, we reach an experience which is stateless, non-dual, which we call Turiyam. We said analysis of Atman is an analysis of the meaning, artha, of the word pada. Padartha vichara. Analysis of Atman is an analysis of the meaning, implied meaning. The artha, the meaning of the word. Omkara vichara, or the analysis of Om, is a pada vichara, word analysis. Correct? Self-analysis is the analysis of the meaning of a word. And Om analysis is the analysis of the word itself. As we have seen, the name cannot remain without the implied meaning or artha. We have done the analysis of the meaning. Now we analyze the word through this Om. Then that is easy. And that is called Om analysis. The word Atman is equal to the word Om. The word Atman, not the thing Atman. Not what is Atman, but the word Atman. We know the self. We know our own self as Atman. Atman is the word given in Sanskrit language. A-T-M-A-N, Atmana, Atman. And this is the name of the self, real self. And this Atman word is equal to the word Om. Clear? The meanings of the words Atman and the meanings of the word Om are one and the same, then should be one and the same. Like suppose the word sugar in English or sakkar in Hindi are same because they indicate the same real thing which is sweet. Isn't it like that? They are two names, but the thing is the same. So Atman name and Omkar name, Om name, they are two names, but they imply the same thing. They are two words implying the same thing. So the words sugar and sakkar are one and the same. The words are one and the same. Similarly, Atman word and Om word are one and the same. Did you get the point? We did the meaning analysis before, and now we are going to do the word analysis. That's what I have said. We have to do both because you cannot have a word without its meaning, and you cannot have a meaning without the word in the dualistic world, excepting abracadabra. Therefore, the name and the thing which is aimed at that way can never be separated. Clear? Normally, when we analyze any word, we find that it can reveal a thing which is already known by us. When we saw the blackboard first time in our life as a child, we did not know what it was. The teacher told that it is a blackboard, and we learned that name. We saw the blackboard without name, but now this is called Nirvikalpa Pratyaksa. But Savikalpa Pratyaksa is when we know the name and then we know, oh, this is a blackboard. We, with our sense organs, experienced the object and then heard the word blackboard. So we knew that the object experience and the word heard are connected. The word is called Padam and the object is called Padartha. Artha means an object, a thing. The thing named by a word is called Padartha. Now we know a word. We had to know the sound and the corresponding object also. So we understand that a particular word, Padam, reveals the corresponding thing. Padam, the word is Om, Padartha is Atman, the self, real self. And the word Atman and the word Om, they are similar because they indicate the same self. So Om has self as the Padartha, as the meaning. Atman word has self as the Padartha or meaning. This is called learning of language. You go on adding meaning to a new language that you are learning. Suppose I am learning German and I say Ich bin. Ich means I. So Ich is a word I never knew. But now I added the meaning to that. What is that meaning? I. Aham. Aham is called ich in German. So I have to go on adding this meaning to that word to make it meaningful. Otherwise, it is an abracadabra. These analyses we did standing aside as the analyzer or observer. We have observed that the speed and location of any changeful thing or object cannot be known at the same time by the observer, the subject. Why? Because in our investigation, the observer is playing both the roles of the subject, the analyzer, and the object, the analyzed. Do you remember this argument? Rama, dear volunteer, the subject and the object are the same. I am analyzing myself. Here I analyze myself. I am a volunteer here. This is the main problem of our non-dual understanding. You cannot delete your sense of duality as long as you are in duality. And that is why hard practice is needed. Hence, the Upanishad has taken up the analysis of Om, the sound or word. The Upanishad has tried to bring home the idea that the gold, individualized as ornaments, is always gold and nothing but gold. The ornaments are also nothing but gold. See, then what is dual here? Gold has taken the forms and names and utility of the ornaments. So the ornaments are nothing but gold and gold is nothing but gold. Similarly, the Atman, individualized as the waker, the dreamer, the sleeper, and finally the stateless one, are nothing but the real Atman. Or, as we have discussed, the letters of Om, O, U, and M, and silence, these four are always Atman and nothing but Atman in itself. That very self, considered from the standpoint of the individualized parts, is Om. We are thinking of bangle, ring, and necklace, which are called gold. These are words, these are sounds. You know, the creation in Hinduism began with the sound, and that sound is Om. And in physics, that sound is bang. So we say Om and you say bang. What is the difference? That means, considered from the standpoint of the letters in Om, the four parts of the self or Atman are letters of Om. Because you cannot separate the letters from their parts. The letters are A, U, Ma, Akara, Ukara, Makara iti, the Upanishad says. A, U, Ma, M. In the analysis of Atman inquiry, we divided the Atman into four parts, aspects, Jagrat, Swapna, Susupti, and Turiyam. We will learn the same analysis in respect of Om, comparing the parts of Om. It is word analysis, we have to remember, and not meaning analysis. But the trick is that a word cannot be there without its meaning. We are not taking up the self to analyze, but when we are doing Om analysis, we are going through or going together with the Atman analysis also. That is there in the background. You cannot separate Om from Atman and Atman from Om, as long as you are saying Om. But now we are analyzing the word Om and not the meaning of it. Atman word has four parts. Om is divided into four matras, or letters or parts. But we find only three letters here, A, U, Ma. The Upanishad says, Soyam Atma Chatushpat. That Atman is Om, and Om is the total Atman. It all says that you cannot separate them. What are called parts of Atman are the letters of Om. The total Om is total Atman. How is it? Let us go through a table. The all letter in Om, that is called the first part, is equal to the waking state. A, U, Ma. A starts with your throat, U in between, and Ma ends with the closing the lips. So it represents the whole gamut of our articulation of sound. This was known to the Upanishadic rishis long, long ago. Before the idea of Vitruvian man came, before they opened the throat, cut open the throat and knew about the position. The Vedic rishis did not do that, but they discovered that how the letters are placed at different parts of the throat. So then the second letter is U, the dream state. This corresponds with dream state of Atman. And the third letter is M. This is called Tritiya, third part, deep sleep. That is the deep sleep state of Atman, that's Sushupti. Now the word Akara, O, means the sound or letter O. U means the sound letter U. M means the sound or letter M. What is the fourth matra, fourth letter? That is silence. It is there as infinite silence, infinite Atman. Atman is silence. Before and after the pronunciation of Om, there is silence. And during the pronunciation of Om, also there is silence at the background. The sound is recognizable because there is silence behind that. Otherwise, it is not possible. That is the comparison. The silence is the reference for any sound. So there is silence before, after, and during the pronunciation of the word Om or Uma. And that silence is the real Atman in itself, the thing in itself. Das Ding an sich. It is the fourth part. This is called Amatra, the partless, the stateless letter, which is not visible, but it is there. Like when we start chanting Om, the silence out of which this Om sound appears and into which it disappears and on which it is recognized. That is that fourth part. It is not a part, it is the fourth. It cannot be counted also. When we are counting, suppose Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep state, or when we are counting bangle, chain, and ring made of gold, how many things we are counting? We are counting 3 plus 1 gold. But the Upanishad says that plus 1 is only there, and these 3 are appearances. Therefore, always there is 1, not 2, non-dual. Now let us recall what we discussed in the mantras regarding self-analysis. The Upanishad says that this Atman has got 4 parts, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiyam. And they are the parts. Now let us take the instance of A of Om, which is the Waker Atman, the field of Waker's wakefulness. Hence the first part means the waking state. First part of Om means the waking state. A means the waking state. This is how we would generally understand things. But that is wrong. This first quarter is not the waking state. It is the consciousness associated with the waking state. It is the silence associated with the pronunciation of the word A. Right? The consciousness is always there. You may say it as a bangle, but when you take the bangle to the goldsmith will not evaluate it as a bangle. The goldsmith will weigh gold, not the bangle. Right? Vyavaharika drishti. I am taking a bangle to be sold to the goldsmith. That is my Vyavaharika drishti. That is how I behave in this world. But the goldsmith knows that it is nothing but gold. You may give me a bangle with a lot of care that it does not break, but the goldsmith will break it because he gets the gold, and his target is gold, not the bangle. So gold is always there behind this bangle. Now the analysis of the word analysis means analysis of the word letters in Om, like analysis of the name Rama. The Vakar Rama having its limited field of applicability, the dreamer Rama having its limited field of applicability, like that. Instead of calling it Rama the Vakar, we will call it Awe. Instead of calling it Rama the dreamer, we will call it U. Instead of calling it Rama the sleeper, we will call it Ma. When I am calling the Atman in the waking state, or when I'm calling me as the Atman in the waking state, I'm actually calling me as A. That is the first letter of Om. When I'm calling the Atman, me the Atman in the dream state, I'm actually calling me as U. Similarly, I am calling me as Ma. These are all letters or sounds in the symbol or word which is called Om. When I realize that it is the same I who am the waker, the dreamer, who am the Ma, then I am the Atman as the thing in itself. When I realize that, I am there even if there are no states and no letters of Om. This is Turiyam, transcendental experience of Om or Atman or Brahman. You are Atman, you are Brahman, you are existence, you are Om, you are Rama, you are the volunteer. Then you are existent. You are Brahman, that is why you exist. If you deny it, then you do not exist. If you deny this analysis, then you do not exist. And a non-existent entity is no entity. Hence, your denial of such truth is a denial of yourself. And if you do it, you will disappear in a moment. The Upanishad says, Murdhate vyapatishyati. Your head will fall. While if you deny your existence, you deny yourself, so your argument also has no place. You do not argue. Who will argue? You are not there. So, Atmanascha pratyakyatum ashakyatvat yayeva nirakarta tasyaiva atmatvat, says Shankaracharya. You cannot deny your own existence because the person who denies should exist to validate that denial. You can deny all other things in the world as non-existent. You can accept them as non-existent, but you cannot deny your own existence. That actually makes you disappear. Murdhate vyapatishyati. Your name will disappear and you will disappear. And that is the analysis of Om. And that is the analysis of Atman. And that is what is understood in Hinduism as the real Om. All other mythological interpretations, they are fine, they help people to reach this understanding of the Om and this understanding of yourself. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of our time. I will stop here.